Coming up from the Northeast Live Studios in Guwahati, Northeast Tonight with Wasbir Hussain.
Welcome to Northeast Tonight, the show that decodes the region. The battle lines viewers have been drawn in Assam for the upcoming elections. While the ruling BJP promises to secure Assam's future by decimating the Congress AIUDF combined, which it accuses of polarizing the society and trying to revive what it says Mughal culture, the Congress is trying to turn the tables on the BJP, accusing it of endangering Assam's culture, identity and language by bringing in the CAA that will encourage a section of illegal migrants to come in and settle down. Again, the BJP says it will approach the polls on a pro-incumbency report card and is convinced it will return to power on the basis of the development it has managed to bring about in the state. On the other hand, the Congress has come out with a 12-point charge sheet against the BJP-led government in Assam, accusing it of failing to implement its 2016 poll promise of providing jobs to 5 lakh youths in the state per year. The Congress is also trying to pin down the BJP for the non-implementation of so far of Clause 6 of the Assam Accord, besides privatizing government concerns like the Lokopriya Gopinath Bodolo International Airport in Guwahati and the state's prized resources like oil fields. The big question is, which of the two narratives will cut ice among Assam's 2.29 crore voters? Is there a pro-incumbency wave in Assam as stated by the BJP? Will the Congress be able to corner the BJP-led combined with its 12-point quote-unquote charge sheet and the 5 guarantees that includes repeal of CA and hike in tea wages to Rs 365 a day? How will the voters react to the class of civilization theory of the BJP? At the end of the day, identity politics seems to have assumed center stage in Assam as in previous elections. To discuss the possibilities, I am joined by Assam BJP spokesperson Janki Goswami. I also have with me Secretary and spokesperson of Assam Congress, Dr. Mongve Rongpi, joining me live from Difu. Dr. Baharul Islam, an academic, is also joining me on the show. And with me is Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta, professor at Guwahati University and a well-known commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Northeast Tonight. Now, the big question is, battle lines, Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta, battle lines are drawn in Assam. The BJP is saying that pro-incumbency wave will see it sail through smoothly. The BJP is accusing the Congress of trying to polarize the society and says that by aligning with the AIUDF, the Congress is once again trying to bring in quote-unquote Mughal culture and Mughal rule in Assam. That is why the BJP says there is a clash of civilizations going on, and therefore the people have to understand the true reason for the Congress AIUDF alliance. That is what the BJP is campaigning. The Congress is saying that, the BJP has failed in its Jati Mati Bheti slogan because the Ka which it has introduced has neutralized this whole thing. So how do you see the two narratives and how do you think the voters are going to look at it?
The whole campaign agenda of the BJP, the ruling party has been changing. Even though it was talking about the pro-development or the whatever achievements have been made in last 5 years, suddenly BJP has decided to change its campaign points. It has started talking about 3 important things: that Assam will be established as one of the best state among the states of India. That is one. Assam will be made free of flood. And also, I think there is another, I'm just forgetting, the third particular promises has been made. I'll come back to that. But rather than talking about the development achievements, the party has suddenly shifted towards some of the tall promises, which I think will never be achieved, not only by the BJP or by any political party. Now, as far as the clash of civilization is concerned, I think that is not benefiting BJP alone. I'm afraid whether BJP will be benefited by it or not. Every time, constantly talking about clash of civilization and targeting Ajmal, Badruddin Ajmal and Ripun Bora, and also going to the extent that by voting Rana Goswami, you are voting Badruddin Ajmal. For that matter, by voting Ripun Bora, you are also voting for Badruddin Ajmal, has become a great fun rather than helping the regime. I think it will polarize the society to larger extent, and that will benefit also. That will also benefit AIUDF and the Congress. Therefore, I think the ruling party has become extremely desperate. Therefore, they have been shifting their campaign agenda.
Okay, I'll come to the two political panelists, but let me go to Dr. Baharul Islam. Doctor joining me from Uttarakhand. Dr. Baharul Islam, you are an academic and a political analyst, but you have worked closely with the AIUDF. You have seen the party right from you have been observing the party right from the beginning. My question to you, Dr. Baharul Islam, had you not aligned with the Congress party, do you think the BJP would have still targeted the AIUDF? Had the AIUDF not aligned with, my question to you, Dr. Baharul Islam, had the AIUDF not aligned with the Congress, do you think the BJP would have been able to attack Badruddin Ajmal so viciously?
It doesn't matter. Thank you, Hussain, for bringing me in. Now, as a student of political communication and campaign strategy, this is the focus area of my research. I can tell you 200%, this is when your development flag will not go very good. The fuel price is high. Everybody gets the pinches of, high price. You have no other strategy to create a kind of villain. Unfortunately, at this point of time, Badruddin Ajmal, as a person, as a face, is that image which a particular political party is bringing forward. Now, for a moment, imagine that Congress and UDF are separate. Even then, whether it is Ajmal on this side, they will create two figures. They will bring in Sharman Ali from Congress for this Mia Museum thing, Badruddin Ajmal for this. Now, the point here is, I will agree with Professor
Akhil Ranjan Dutta
on this point, that these kind of strategies has a kind of limited shelf life, and it cannot become a very, you can say, very central of your election winning focus for a long time, and particularly in an environment of Assam. As a person from Assam, I can tell you, this is the saddest day that for me, as a person from, you can say I'm an inhabitant Khilonjia person from this art, that just because my name is Wasbir Hussain or Baharul Islam, I should be targeted as Mughal or something like that. If you really have something to say, arrest me, throw me out of this country. Otherwise, don't create a scaremongering monster out of me.
Point taken.
In the long run,
point taken.
These
Baharul
are going to harm
Dr. Baharul Islam. Point taken. Now, let me get a response. Let me get a response from Janki Goswami. Janki Goswami respond, and we are talking about the two narratives that is going on in Assam today. Your party, the BJP, saying that if you bring the Congress AIUDF, it will be like bringing Mughal rule back to Assam. For the information of the viewers, the Assamese had battled the Mughals 17 times, and the BJP is saying that this is the 18th time that you are going to battle it out in these elections. This is rhetoric, of course, but there is a message there from the BJP that don't vote for Congress and AIUDF because that is going to bring the Mughal rule back. And that's what Dr. Baharul Islam has said, that just because your name is something, don't equate that you are that those people are quote-unquote Mughals. How do you respond?
See, we are talking about the, as you said, clash of civilizations or the battle of civilizations, precisely because we have seen an age-old party like the Congress. It is very unfortunate to see the Congress getting degenerated in such a way. A party which is more than 100 years old, a party which had taken part in the freedom struggle of our country, and a party which had, where we had seen very tall leaders participating in the freedom struggle, in taking part in forming the Congress, the foundation of, laying down the foundation stone of the Congress party. That party has degenerated so much that today it does not have the strength to fight the election on its own. Today it is taking the support of a party which had formed out of the scrapping of IMDT Act. If we look at AIUDF, AIUDF was formed in the year 2005 after the scrapping of the IMDT Act. That party, which party they had targeted, and they had said at one point of time, our ex-Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi Dangoria himself had said that who is Badaruddin? They are merging their ideologies. Congress has lost all its ideologies. The Congress has lost all its flavor. They are going to merge with a party. Which party they had themselves...
I don't think they are merging, they are just aligning.
That is merging of ideologies. Aligning means what? They have merged all their ideologies. So it is clear that they are not Deshbhakts anymore. They are just Kursi Bhakts. They are here to grab the chair. They are here to grab the power. What kind of commitment they have towards the people of Assam? And that is why precisely we are talking about saving our civilization. We are talking about saving our civilization from the aggressors.
Janki, Goswami, let me bring in Dr. Mongve, Rongpi, Secretary and Spokesman of the Assam Congress. Dr. Mongve, Rongpi, the narrative battle line seems to have been drawn, as I said right at the beginning. And now, your party, that is the Congress, is also trying to play the identity politics, because the Congress has said in its charge sheet, so quote unquote, that the BJP has completely gone away from its Jati, Mati, Bheti, because they have brought in the Citizenship Amendment Act. And the Congress party is also accused, your party is also accused the BJP of not being able to implement the Clause 6 of the Assam Accord. Now, at the end of the day, you are also playing the politics of citizenship that we have been seeing in Assam since the first election after the Assam Accord, that is the elections in 1985. So the Congress is also trying to bring the identity politics to center stage. Dr. Rongpi.
Firstly, I would like to wish all the panelists and all the viewers a very good evening. And I would like to start off by responding to the comments made by the BJP spokesperson before me. She was talking about Mughal Raj and about the Congress losing its identity. I want to counter question her by asking that where was the ideology of the BJP when it had aligned with Mehbooba Mufti and her party in Jammu and Kashmir, and even placed her as the Chief Minister in Jammu and Kashmir, supported by the BJP? That is my first question. Second question is, I feel that all this political gimmicks brought about by the BJP is just to divert the attention away from the fact that the BJP has not performed for the people of Assam, for the people of the entire, all the districts of Assam, and to divert from the main topic, they have deliberately brought about this. Whereas it's very ironic that they talk about Mughal Raj and they talk about all this, but on the other hand, in Jammu and Kashmir, they had aligned with Mehbooba Mufti and her party, and it had even placed her as the Chief Minister. Now, coming back to the question that you had placed before me about Citizenship Amendment Act and about the charge sheet which has been prepared, the 12-point charge sheet that has been prepared by the Congress party. our party has been very clear in its ideology. We are the party that brought about independence. We are the party that fought and we lost so many people. We sacrificed so many individuals just so that India could get independence. At the same time, during that time, the BJP were acting as agents to the British, and they were acting and aiding the British. So that
Are you going to live in the past? Are you trying to live in the past? What is the narrative today?
See, our party has a very clear stand on all this. We are an all-inclusive party. We like to include all communities irrespective of religion, irrespective of caste and creed. So that has been the ideology from day one of the Congress party, and that is the way we like to move forward with things.
Janki Goswami, I'm coming to you, Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta and Dr. Baharul Islam. Janki Goswami, from what Akhil Ranjan Dutta had said right at the beginning, that the BJP is shifting its poll plank. First, you were very, very strong on your pro-incumbency. That is the word which you said in this debate, that one of the, you are going to face the election on your pro-incumbency report card.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough. Every political party who think that they have done well is entitled to seek votes on the basis of what it has done. But my question is now, in the last 1 week, one has noticed, as Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta has said, that the BJP is once again, trying to pin the Congress and the AIUDF, which is your prime rivals, trying to pin them down on the issue of the clash of civilizations, this and that, and trying to infuse into the people a sense of fear. Now the question is, a lot of people are saying now, as Akhil Ranjan Dutta has said right at the beginning, that you are changing your poll plank because you think, obviously because you think that identity politics is going to give you more better results than talking about development alone.
No, we are
that
not,
is a charge.
We are not shifting. We are not shifting our poll plank, or we are not shifting our ideology, or we are not shifting our agenda. Our agenda is still development. Let me tell you a few pillars that we are trying to fight these elections on. We are trying to fight this election on the agenda of development, on the agenda of good governance, on transparent government, on corruption-free government, and on a terrorism-free government. Our aim was to establish the welfare and well-being of the Assamese people, and our aim still remains to establish the welfare and well-being of the Assamese people. Now, we are also talking about Suraksha and Samriddhi. Suraksha in the sense that we are trying to safeguard the interests, the identity of the people of Assam. We are trying to safeguard the language, culture, the literature of our age-old civilization. So there is nothing wrong in trying to protect the culture, our own culture and civilization. And number two, we are also trying to usher in, by talking about Samriddhi, we are trying to usher in an unprecedented era of peace and development. In these last 5 years, we had just done the foundation-laying process of the development that we are talking about. In the next 5 years, when we are re-elected, people will see a new Assam. People will see more development coming in.
Dr. Akhil Ranjan
People
Dutta,
will see more progress.
Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta,
so it is,
hypothetically speaking, suppose Badruddin Ajmal was not there in the scene. Do you think that BJP, more than 70% of the BJP's talking point in this election would not have been there had Badruddin Ajmal not been there in the fray?
Yeah, do
you agree?
I do agree that Badruddin Ajmal had provided them a lot of opportunities, to escape themselves, from the core developmental achievements, escape themselves from the deficit of core developmental achievements. Therefore, it looks like if you look at last 7 days. The Home Minister came, he was talking about Badruddin Ajmal, the core political strategies, electoral strategies, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, wherever he is going, he is talking about Badruddin Ajmal. Is Badruddin Ajmal the god for BJP? Does he deserve so much of attention from a very strong national political party, ruling political party? Is Badruddin Ajmal that powerful? Is Badruddin Ajmal that threat for a political party like BJP? It's not only they are talking about Badruddin Ajmal.
Is Badruddin Ajmal so powerful? That is a valid question.
He's not powerful, but he's a threat, yes.
Just a second. Let me just tell you. Why are you bringing in Bangladesh? Why are you telling that let Badruddin Ajmal go to the Bangladesh? Bangladesh is a friendly country of India in South Asia. Only with Bangladesh we have a very friendly relationship. Bangladesh is a sovereign country. Bangladesh is a republic. Do we have any right to ask our citizens to go to Bangladesh and to form government there? Is it not detrimental to the very foundation of Indian foreign?
What does Badruddin Ajmal's party idolize? What do they stand for? What are the ideals that they stand for? They stand for the protection of the migrant Muslims, and that we all know. It is a hard-known fact that they stand for the protection of the migrant Muslims.
You execute him.
So let the APCC go and fight in Dunduma. Let the APCC go and fight in Dibrugarh. Are they able to do that? Are they able to do that? They always protect their, how do they protect their kursi? How do they protect their chair? They protect their chair because they fight from the areas, from the constituencies where they know that there is a big strength of migrant Muslims in these areas. So how do they call themselves? Are they a secular party?
Let Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta respond.
Any respect for the sovereignty and integrity of Bangladesh? Just tell me one thing. Do you have any respect for the sovereignty and integrity of Bangladesh? That's a sovereign country. That's an independent country.
We have full respect for another country. We have full respect for the sovereignty of another country. But we do not have respect for the people who come and live here for more than 100 years and still do not accept their culture, our culture as their own culture. They want to flourish their own culture in our land, in our Ohomiyai. They want to come and flourish their own culture. We do not have respect for those people. Here, when we talk about the battle of civilization, we are talking about those people, those aggressors who have come here, and multiplied.
Gone to the airport to receive her. They had a summit meeting. You know, this is Bangladesh. You respect the country. Your foreign
Akhil Ranjan Dutta, there is a different. Let me come in. I'm coming to you, Dr. Baharul Islam and Dr. Mongve Rongpi. But Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta, what Janki Goswami is trying to say that you have full respect for Bangladesh and it is democratically elected government, but she has problem with those people from Bangladesh who have illegally entered and have settled down, posing a threat to the indigenous people.
That's a wrong notion. Bangladesh was created in 1971. Badruddin came before 1971. Why do you call him Bangladeshi? It is not fair. Whatever Ripun Bara, is Ripun Bara Bangladeshi? So my point is that the whole polarization process has gone to an extent.
Okay,
this is not fair in a democratic policy.
All right, let me go to Dr. Baharul Islam. Dr. Baharul Islam, my question is very simple. The BJP is pro-development. Can you dismiss the pro-development measures taken by the BJP government? 11 medical colleges, several bridges on the Brahmaputra, connecting the eastern and northern Assam.
Upliftment of the tea tribes?
These are some of the claims which the BJP is making. But my question to you, as someone watching the development in Assam, can you dismiss it totally?
No, and I would love to have engaged in a debate with this kind of narrative of development. Unfortunately, over the last few days, whenever I'm watching this because I have to collect data and record them for content analysis, whenever I'm looking at the speech, as you were saying, 70% of the content is just to make Indian Muslim or Muslims of Assam the new Jew of Germany. That every other defect is because of these people. If Badruddin Ajmal's party has something wrong and it has some illegal activity or illegal member, why did not you apply for his cancellation of his registration? If he has campaigned something illegal against any of the Assamese culture or for that matter any community of this country, you have very well give the recording to the Election Commission. For last 16 years he is here. Anybody has complained formally for getting his registration cancelled?
Okay, but Dr.
Prime
Mongve
Minister
Rongpi,
sitting, Home Minister sitting, 70% of the content is only Badruddin Ajmal Mughal.
Okay.
What Mughal?
No, in a way,
India is a mixture of cultures.
Dr. Mongve Rongpi, but what is the Congress doing? Now, you in your charge sheet, in your 12-point charge sheet, Dr. Mongve Rongpi, Baharul Islam, hold your thoughts. I'm coming back to you, Dr. Baharul Islam. Dr. Mongve Rongpi, the Congress has also added fuel to the fire in the sense that Congress has also decided that this is the topic, this is the issue that we have to harp on. Join the identity politics bandwagon. You have done exactly that.
No. See, sometime back, the BJP spokesperson had talked about being like a pro-development party and bringing about development and corruption-free and all. I just want to refresh the memory of all my fellow panelists as well as the viewers. She's talking about corruption-free. I just want to remind her of two incidents. One is in 2018, in which there was an appointment of 145 posts in the Panchayat and Rural Development Department, and also the recently occurred scam which happened in the police SI recruitment. So I just want to remind my fellow spokesperson from the BJP about all this. And coming back, our party, our Congress party, has been very clear, and now we are for the coming time we have placed our 5-point program, which is the fight for guarantee, in which we are fighting that the moment Congress comes to power, we will abolish CA. That is the first thing. And second thing,
but how will you abolish CA? Yes. Listen, Dr. Mongve Rongpi, how will you abolish CA? Because it's a central legislation. A state assembly, even if you are the majority, you cannot cancel a central legislation. That is the point.
This is nothing but misleading the people.
See, wherever the governments are there, the non-BJP governments are there, suppose in Punjab or Delhi, or Kerala, they've already passed in their legislative assembly that they will be against, there will be no implementation of CA in the respective states. And coming back, the BJP, they've already misled majority of the people of Assam. And I'm coming now to the tea workers problem. In between, the BJP had tried to mislead the tea workers, in which they said that we'll increase the daily wages of 50 rupees. But I think it is a big insult to the BJP because the Honorable Guwahati High Court has turned down that thing. So, from our side, we have said that the moment Congress comes to power, we'll bring about 365 rupees daily wage to all the tea garden workers.
What is?
But Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta, another shift, if I'm borrowing the word from you, another shift which we have noticed in the last 4 to 5 days is the BJP focusing on the issue of floods and erosion in Assam. It was all started by Mr. Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister. The earlier time he had come, and 2 days ago when he was here, he raised the issue of floods, and now it has been taken up by the top leaders of the state as well in the last 24 to 48 hours. Now the issue is, there was an allegation against all the political parties that they are indulging in rhetoric, they are not touching the key issues facing Assam, like for example floods. Now, the BJP wants to plug that gap, and it has already very forcefully taken up the issue of floods with Mr. Amit Shah, saying that there will be a scientific approach in dealing with this issue when the BJP comes back this time. So BJP seems to be leaving no stone unturned, touching every issue with all top leaders coming and visiting the state, etc.
See, I mentioned that three issues have emerged very strongly in the last couple of days. And Amit Shah has mentioned three issues. Assam will be made the best state among the states of India. Second, Assam will be made free of foreigners. And three, Assam will be made free from flood and erosion. Basically, he's talking about flood. I think talking about flood is an important and welcome. I welcome the point that BJP has been talking about. But we need to keep in mind that the way he has been proposing that within next 5 years, if BJP comes to power, Assam will be free from flood. It is a rhetoric. You cannot think of, even in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you cannot think of making Assam free from flood. And that has been experimented. Therefore, former Chief Minister of Assam, Sarat Sinha, said that we have no way. We have to cohabit. We have to co-live with flood.
Yes,
now,
Mongve,
flood is concerned,
go ahead.
Just remember, just a point.
I just want
flood
to come in
is not only
about
the
this
natural calamity.
problem.
Now, flood has
The
also
Honorable Prime
become
Minister of
the
India
product
has
of
all the time
Mongve is responding to you. Okay, just hold your thoughts.
Artificial flood.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
talking.
I'm just coming back
Okay,
to
Dr.
the
Akhil Ranjan
point.
Dutta, please hold your thoughts. Yes, Dr. Rongpi. Yes.
I'm just coming to the point that was raised in which Amit Shah talks about how he will work towards, bringing about a scientific approach to all this flood and erosion problem. I mean, I just wanted to point out that our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has all the time in the world to tour all the foreign countries, to tour different states of India, to play with the peacock and so on. But he did not even have a single minute or a single second to visit Assam when Assam was facing the worst floods. He did not have even a single second or a single minute to come to Assam, to come witness the problems faced by the people, to face the losses faced by the people. He did not do all
I want to go into a different issue. Dr. Rongpi, hold your thoughts. Dr. Baharul Islam, what is your sense? In an election time when the atmosphere is charged, in a charged atmosphere, Dr. Baharul Islam, do you think that even the people, we blame the politicians for indulging in rhetoric, but do you think that even the people want to hear some rhetorics from the political leaders? Even people want to hear interesting stuff being told by the political leaders rather than talking about mundane issues. I'm not trying to say that flood is a mundane issue. Not at all. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just trying to get your response. Do you think even the audience, even the people, even the general people love the rhetorics during election time?
The issue is that we, as a politicians, they have to create that narrative, their campaign strategy. The experts like us, the communication specialists, they sit in the back room of these political parties, particularly the mainstream one. What the BJP will focus on in their speech and in their communication, these are very well planned. These are not random talking. So the ball lies in mainstream political parties' platform. The problem is when a major party starts talking about Mughal, it immediately creates a backlash. And then these parties, the parties which here they are indicating as Mughal, they will be forced to come to that narrative. Instead of talking, you have closed madrasas, no problem. Provide more education to not only minorities, but to tea garden workers, Adivasis and all. That should have been the plan. That by closing these madrasas, how many alternative education system we have created. But when you talk of Mughal, the next meeting, what will happen, that other parties and even the small level, you can say street level, corner level, small meeting will have a reflection of this. And you have no control over that. Second point is this, that when this kind of narrative is set, what happens that it has a residual
I'll have to go for a break, Dr. Baharul Islam. Dr. Baharul Islam, I'll have to cut you short. I'll have to cut you short. Sorry about that. I'll have to go for a break. Don't go away. I'll be right back. When I come back, I'll carry on forward this conversation. Don't go away. I'll be back. Welcome back. Let me, Janki Goswami, basically what Dr. Baharul Islam has been saying. Dr. Baharul Islam was trying to say before we had gone on the break that these are issues, but no one is really interested in following up on these issues. And he has given the example of madrasas and so on. But my question was, why has your party decided to shift away a little bit and talk on core issues like floods? Because that was the allegation against all the political parties. Now, a lot of people will say, your critics are going to tell you, ask the question, that your pro-incumbency card is not working or may not work, and therefore, you have decided to touch on some real issues that the people are seeking answers to.
See, these developmental issues, issues of problem solving have always been the heart of our agenda. Now, when we talk about, Mr. Mongve had just now said that they have come up with a 5-point guarantee. Now, it is actually a mockery of the whole system. They had been in power for 70 long years. Why had they not solved the problem of tea labor wages? The tea labor wages problem had come to us. That itself is very unfortunate. We had to deal with the problem. Where were you when they were struggling for increasing their wages? Just taking a tokri in the back and going and picking some tea leaves in the tea gardens for one day will not solve the issues. Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra had come and done that for one day. I feel that was a sheer mockery of, the identity and the situation of the people who live that life daily. Now, when maybe she doesn't even know that these women of the tea garden workers, the women folk, they are deprived of their daily wages when they are in their pregnancy stage. Okay. Our party has come up with this plan of giving them an amount of rupees 12,000 during their pregnancy stage.
Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta wants to say something.
We have taken an initiative to increase their wages. At least rupees 30 in the first shot, and we are giving an attempt to make it to take it up to 217 rupees in the second shot. Yes, it is an attempt from us, but they did not even make an attempt. Now their 5-point guarantee is nothing, just a copy-pasted issue of what we have done.
Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta wanted to say something.
You see, BJP is factually so wrong. Now, Janki Goswami said that Congress ruled the country for 70 years. Amit Shah said it. So many top political leaders of BJP have been telling it. India achieved independence in 1947. Now it is 74th year of India's independence. And out of this 74 years, did Congress rule for 70 years? Why are you giving so much of wrong factual things to the people?
It hardly matters. It is a matter of plus minus 5.
And we pointed out
minus 5 or 10.
Now, yes.
But yes, basically, they had a period of around 60 golden years in their
BJP
era.
ruled it. So Atal Bihari Wasbir ruled it for 6 years. You had the UF government, United Front government for 2 years. See, no, you have to be factually correct. Now, yes.
Yes, plus minus 5 here and there does not make much of a difference.
But remember, during UPA government, UPA government had given NREGA. UPA government has given National Food Security Act. UPA government has given right to education. UPA government has given right, the forest dwellers, right to Forest Rights Act, so on and so forth. Same is the case with Atal Bihari Wasbir government. Atal Bihari Wasbir government has given East-West corridor. These are tremendous achievements. Same is the case with Narendra Modi government. The way the vaccine has been invented in the country. I think these are tremendous achievements. Now, rather than talking about your development achievements, why are you constantly focusing on Ajmal and Ajmal?
Yeah, I think that's a very...
What are your weaknesses?
I'll rephrase this question. That's a very valid point which Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta is making. Janki, you have to give a well thought out answer to this. You have very strong development credentials. Like Atal Bihari Vajpayee, during his government, given the during the Lucas policy, which is now the activist policy. Now, your government, present government, as Akhil said, has brought about controlled COVID Forget about Bogibel Bridge. Controlled COVID so effectively in the country. Assam government has... No, wait. Assam government had tackled COVID so effectively. The present government had come up with the COVID vaccines, which has been also used by so many countries in the world. India is giving them free. Instead of talking on these things, which are great achievements, why is the BJP talking of Mughals and other issues? That is the question which Akhil has posed. And please give a considered answer.
I have already said, why did we say that we are riding on a pro-incumbency wave? We are riding on a pro-incumbency wave.
That is good. But why are you still then talking about, why are you talking about Mughals?
It is because of the development and the progressive steps that our government has taken. It is because we take pride in the matter that we have established 8 new medical colleges. We have built 24,000 kilometers of roads. We have established 119 model schools in the tea garden areas. We have built more than 800 kilometers of tea garden pavements. We have made the people of the tea garden financially inclusive. They were out of the financial inclusion system. They did not even have a bank account. Now 7.5 lakh people of the tea garden areas have a bank account. It's not only that. More than 1 crore people have bank accounts now. We have given housing. We have given houses to more than 8 lakh people in Assam. So it is our agenda of development stays. It was there and it will remain.
Both Dr. Baharul Islam and Mongve wants to say, Dr. Rongpi, make your point and I'm coming to Baharul Islam.
One final point that I wanted to include.
If by development
let him respond.
You mean selling off our resources such as oil fields and Lokpriya Gopinath Bordoloi International Airport, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. I will respond to that. Now, the thing is, during the UPA regime also, 2 airports were privatized. One is the Mumbai airport and one is the Delhi airport. And now during the UPA regime, and I think it was a very progressive decision taken by the Narasimha Rao government of bringing in liberalization, the economic liberalization of 1991, which we all talk about, and we are proud of that step. So privatization is not anti-national. Privatization is not anti-national. When we talk about
BJP opposed it. That's what Akhil Ranjan is saying.
If you look at the debates in 1990, early 1990s,
we are talking about privatizing those organizations which are not rendering profits any longer. So we have this belief system, not only we, it is a belief system that when we are not earning profits, then it is better to sell it
Islam,
and
yes, Dr. Baharul Islam, you want to make a point?
Amount.
Let Dr. Baharul Islam make his point. Yes.
Yes, I say that BJP campaign strategies there have a lot of good point to talk about. Interior villages in Karimganj, my home district, there are boys who have got job through tech without paying any bribe in last 5 years. They have brought in a lot of other issues like medical college, the first medical college and other things. There are a lot of issues which they could talk about. For example, for a minority in Assam, it is the biggest, you can say, the attraction that in last 5 years there has not been any killing in Bodoland. Otherwise, every alternative day people were getting killed. This kind of things should have been brought to the forefront. Now, the million-dollar question you must be asking me, why they are bringing them up? Because somehow, somewhere they have thought that because of this high price rise and because of this a dangerous double-edged sword called Ka and Cap, which works both the way in Barakpili and Brahmaputra Valley, they want to now diminish every other discussion but make people fear that some Mughals are waiting somewhere on the other side of the Brahmaputra. And if you don't vote for BJP, they are going to capture Guwahati and whatever those things is. Poor Badruddin Ajmal, where he will go? He has been fighting this election for last few years. You could reduce him in terms of what economic benefit he has got. He has opened so many colleges for women. You can bring those things to the front. I think for academicians like me, and I think Professor Dutta will agree with me, for us, the content of the political campaign this year was very degenerating.
No, let me ask this.
As a person from Assam, when I give example to my students,
what do you think, Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta? Baharul Islam, hold your thoughts. Hold your thoughts.
An incumbent like
Baharul Islam, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to Dr. Akhil Ranjan. Baharul Islam, hold your thoughts. Let's reduce the volume of. Yes, Baharul Islam, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you for the paucity of time. Dr. Akhil Ranjan Dutta, the point which Dr. Baharul Islam is making is very interesting. He says that in the last 5 years, lot of people in his home district of Karimganj, Baharul Islam is giving an example. Lot of educated youths have got jobs as teachers by clearing TAT without paying bribes. Please note the point. There was no bribes paid. But these are important issues which he has cited by way of example. Now, why he's asking the question? Listen to my question. He's asking the question, why is the BJP not bringing these issues as election campaign? Because these are the issues he thinks BJP could have got votes on these issues. But why then is the BJP raising the other narrative?
Now, let me go back. Let me add what Dr. Baharul has talked about. If you look at my own district, the road connectivity very particularly, has been a tremendous achievement during this BJP-led government. Think of Lakhimpur, think of Dhokwakhana, think of Dhemaji, think of Majuli. There was no connection at all. We were so much afraid of going back to our native places. In that way, in terms of road connectivity, in terms of communication, this government has done tremendous. Therefore, BJP's strategy should have been very, very decentralized campaign, focusing on developments that they have achieved in different constituencies. But rather than doing it, they have brought about some narratives which is not helping at all, either to the party or to the state as a whole. Dr. Baharul has mentioned it very clearly. They had a lot of apprehensions. Now, the apprehension may result in maybe very real or maybe very, very, imaginary. But they are afraid of the fact that enactment of has created lot of.
Right. Let me go to Dr. Mongve Rongpi. Dr. Rongpi, the point which I'll come last to Janki Goswami for her response. I'm running short of time. Dr. Mongve Rongpi, the Baharul Islam, you have heard, he's saying that BJP in the last 5 years, there was no killing in Bodoland, which is a huge achievement. There was no corruption in TAT during selection of teachers, which is another huge achievement. Now, why he is asking this question, why is the BJP not raising these issues and going on into the identity politics? Your final comments. Your final comments.
Yes. Because BJP doesn't have the moral right to, fight on these issues. Because in 2016, BJP had promised creation of 25 lakh jobs. Now people in Assam, all the unemployed, educated youth are asking, where are those 25 lakh jobs? Because BJP itself on record has admitted that only 80,000 jobs have been created or provided in the last 5 years. And of that also, they have not taken into account all the jobs that were also lost. But in totality, I think probably in the 5 years, probably around 50,000 government jobs were provided. Now coming back to your point in which I couldn't hear clearly who said what, but you mentioned something about Bodoland being peaceful in the last 5 years. But I would like to just go back during Torun Gogoi sir's tenure as chief minister, and if you take into account the period before that, that was the period of secret killings. That was a period of when the Boro Liberation Tigers were there, but it was due to the efforts of the Congress government and Torun Gogoi sir's achievements that all of those people were brought to the negotiation table, including there were many armed outfits in Karbi Anglong also, such as the UPDS, which were also made to sign a peace agreement, the MOS, that was all done during the Congress period of time. So obviously the BJP cannot, bring about all these points since the Congress government during the tenure of...
All right, I'll have to cut you short. Mongve, I'll have to cut you short. I am absolutely running out of time. Janki Goswami, your final comments.
See, I'm very glad that Dr. Islam has mentioned about his home district Karimganj. So if he mentions about Karimganj, I am sure he will also like to talk about this road connecting Silchar and Karimganj, which has now been reconstructed. He would also like to mention about the new trains that are connecting Silchar, Badarpur and Silchar nowadays from Guwahati, the new trains that have come up. Earlier there was no connectivity. He would also like to, I think he would also like to talk about the condition of the roads around Silchar and Karimganj districts. It is not only that, the development saga of our government, as I told you, in 5 years we have only laid the foundation. So we are yet to see that, abhi to, this was just the trailer. So here we are yet to see
the trailer. Janki Goswami is saying picture abhi baki hai.
Picture abhi baki hai. We will definitely be one of the top 5 states. We will definitely emerge as one of the top 5 states in the country.
Let Baharul Islam say. Baharul Islam, Janki Goswami of the BJP.
And the name of Assam will be written in golden letters because of development and peace and progress.
Picture abhi baki hai. Baharul Islam, 20 seconds.
20 seconds. The problem is, because of this kind of campaign, my effort is some good candidates like Dr. Manas Das in Karimganj North, a well-respected doctor for both the communities, will lose election. That tech pass boy who is going to vote for you, he will fear that you are going to kick him out as Mughal. And you are losing good people out there. Barakveli result will be an eye-opener for you, because in last election, none other than the Prime Minister has promised that the Pachgram paper mill and Nagaon paper mill will be opened. Now, after 5 years,
we'll have to, what happens in election, we'll have to wait and watch. Wait and watch. Akhil Ranjan Dutta, 20 seconds to you, final.
My only request to the incumbent ruling party, BJP, that the clash of civilization rhetoric should remain as the trailer and it shouldn't be converted into a reality. We want to live in a peaceful Assam. We want to go ahead with the development initiatives of the present government, of the previous government, or of the future government, whichever party forms the government.
Absolutely.
We want to live in a peaceful Assam.
Absolutely. I think everybody wants to live in a peaceful Assam, or for that matter, any state in the country. This is election time. There will be rhetorics. One shouldn't be surprised at the rhetorics, but the politicians also must realize, or need to realize, that real issues are not forgotten by the people at any point of time. People actually vote consciously, and today's voters are an extremely conscious lot, and we cannot take them for granted. This is not the last that we have heard on this debate. Northeast Live will bring you this kind of debates, analysis, and real-time developments in the election theatre in Assam. I thank all my panelists for participating on the show and the viewers for watching the program. Good night and goodbye.